The restaurant was softly lit, the kind of place where conversations floated like background music, and the air smelled faintly of roasted coffee and warm bread. Ethan glanced at the clock for what felt like the 10th time. 7:10 p.m. She was late. He straightened his jacket, checked his phone again, and sighed. It wasn't the first time he'd been stood up, but tonight stung a little more. After his divorce 2 years ago, he'd finally let his sister convince him to try dating again. "She's kind, smart, and she'll surprise you," his sister had said with a teasing grin. But so far this surprise looked like an empty chair across from him. The waiter approached gently. "Would you like to order, sir? Or wait a little longer?" Ethan forced a polite smile. "Maybe just 5 more minutes." He tried not to look desperate as couples laughed and clinked glasses around him. He even rehearsed what he'd say if she did show up late. Something casual, something kind. That's when he heard it, a small voice near the entrance. "Excuse me, are you Mr. Ethan?" He turned. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, stood holding a pink stuffed bunny almost as big as her arm. Her cheeks were flushed from the cold outside, and her dark curls peeked out from under a knitted hat. "Yes, I'm Ethan," he said, confused but gentle. "And who are you?" The girl smiled nervously. "My mommy's sorry she's late. She said to tell you she's coming. She just parked the car." Before Ethan could respond, the hostess smiled knowingly. "She's adorable. Your date must be her mom." The little girl climbed into the chair across from him, clutching her bunny. "Mommy said I could sit here for a minute. She told me to tell you she's really excited." Ethan chuckled softly, completely disarmed. "Well, I'm glad she sent such a brave messenger." A few moments later, the door opened again, and there she was. Clara, her cheeks pink from the cold, hair pulled back in a messy bun, breathless as she hurried to the table.
"I am so sorry,"
she said, eyes wide with embarrassment. "My sitter canceled last minute, and I didn't want to stand you up, so I brought company." Ethan smiled, warmth replacing the awkwardness. "You made the right choice." As the night went on, something shifted. Instead of the stiff, formal blind date he'd imagined, it turned into laughter, shared stories, and tiny giggles from the little girl, Maya, who kept offering Ethan her fries. They talked about everything: favorite books, the chaos of single parenting, and how both of them had stopped believing in second chances. Ethan found himself captivated by Clara's honesty, how she spoke without pretense, how her eyes glowed when she talked about her daughter. When Maya dozed off halfway through dessert, Ethan noticed Clara gently drape her coat over her daughter and whisper, "Mummy's got you." It wasn't the words, but the tenderness behind them, that caught his heart off guard. He realized something. He hadn't been stood up, he'd been shown up, by kindness, by courage, by the kind of love that shows up even when life gets messy. Before they left, Clara apologized again. "I know this wasn't exactly the perfect date setup." Ethan interrupted softly. "Actually, it might be the most perfect one I've ever had." They exchanged numbers, real ones this time, and a week later, Ethan found himself at a park bench sharing ice cream with both Clara and Maya. Maya looked up at him, chocolate on her cheek, and said innocently, "Mommy says you make her smile again." He smiled back. "Well, she makes me believe again." Moral: sometimes, life's most beautiful moments don't arrive on time. They arrive with a reason. Kindness, patience, and love often come disguised as small interruptions that change everything.